Hello, folks. My name is Jerry B. from Pride and Glory Travel Cruise Planner, and I'm here to tell you about our Where to Next 2026 vacation calendar. Starting off with May 2nd on Freedom of the Seas, Royal Caribbean, going out for 5 days. Then we're doing our land and air vacation. You asked for it. Here we're going out to Vegas in 6 days over in Hawaii and just having a blast. And this kicks off on June 17th. Then another one you asked for, we head back out to Alaska again on July 26th on the beautiful ship Celebrity Edge. Then in October, another trip you asked for. We heading over to Aruba and Carousel. This is going out October 17th on Allure of the Seas. And then our biggest trip of the year is on Allure of the Seas, November 29th, which is our hog biker cruise. You don't need to be a hog or biker to attend. Just come have some fun. We having our leather and lace karaoke party. We having a pool get together. And you got entertainment by me, Jerry B, and my younger brother, Timmy B, doing the show for you guys. So grab your pencil and paper, call Jerry at 920-265-8143, or Pam at 401-368-3275, or John, 703-346-8352. And as always, see you at sea. Hey, folks, welcome to Respect to Talk, another week of Respect to Talk. Hey, my name is Jerry B. Guess what? And we got my nephew this week. This week, he's not dropping in, peekabooing on us now. This week, he's actually going to be here showing us lovely purple shirt, doing Purple Rain. Where's your motorcycle, bro? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, y'all was giving me a hard time. You and the producer talking about singing all kinds of Prince and Purple Rain songs. I got you.
So what is that? Is that like polo something? Does that look like a polo person on there?
It's a polo shirt. It's a polo
I know.
shirt.
I see the polo jockey on there with the horse. You don't even play, do you?
It's an older polo shirt that I just happen to pick up and throw on. So yeah, nah.
Didn't clean clothes? Is that what you're trying to say? Didn't wash?
No, it's not. That's not what I'm trying to say.
So you just done somebody? What?
I'm feeling royal today. You know, purple is a royal color. So there you go.
You look royalty to me. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You look royalty, man.
Thank you.
Unc loves you, man. Unc loves you, man.
Hey, if nobody else does, I appreciate
you
that.
You know Unc gonna love you, man, no matter what. We both got those heads, man. So you know. How you doing, man? How was your weekend, man?
It was good, man. It was good. Kind of relaxing. Yeah, I relaxed and chilled a little bit. Had to work, but other than that, it was all right.
Well, you was with fam last week when you didn't show up, so talk to me about it. What was going on there, man? Let people know what's up.
I originally went in to deal with some family drama on the wife's side, but that was resolved before I got there, but after I had taken the time off. So I got to go there and just kind of hang out with the other fam or the other members of the family. And
well, that was with your mom and dad too, though, because you called.
Yeah. I got like I said, I got to spend more time with mom and dad. I got to spend time with her mom, who's still recovering from her stroke almost a year ago. So it was good to go there and have time to kind of slow down and spend time with them.
Yeah. Did you go to a game or something?
Well, I went to one of my grandsons had a volleyball game, volleyball match.
Right.
And I hadn't got to see him play volleyball, so that was a first and that was a must. So I appreciate you guys giving me some grace and letting me go see that. I hadn't seen put it this way, when I was in high school and in grade school, there was no such thing as a boys volleyball team. It was always girls.
Right, yeah.
Boys volleyball was something we did in gym class, and that was about it. But it was awesome because their team has it together. Watching them take the time and set up bumps to do spikes was just awesome, and watching these other teams do stuff, and even got to see one guy return a spike with his face. So yeah, it was
not intentional either, right?
Right, not intentionally. I think he went to bump, and he was way too close to it, and caught him in the face, and yeah, it sailed right back over the net, and I loved it. Hey, it was cute.
Hey man, that's cool, bro. I mean, it's nothing like getting together with family every now and then, So that's
Yeah.
cool. Hey, let's jump into this, man. Let's get into it. Hey, yo, what's going on today, everybody? Welcome back to Respect the Talk, the podcast where we say the stuff people thinking but scared to say out loud. Ooh, the boogeyman and all that crap. Hey, I'm Jerry B, and today, man, we got a conversation. Got my nephew with me today. Fine, feeling good, because he's here. I love it when he's here. Don't give a shit if he's gone either, but I love it when he's here. But I'm just teasing, nephew. I got to mess with you. So if you rock with real conversation, honest perspective, and discussions that go deeper than headlines, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments because this one, yes, yeah, this one gonna make people uncomfortable. Let's get into James. What do we got, bro?
You get to share it. Share it with somebody who's like-minded, even if you know that that person is a closet case like yourself. Because we got a lot of people who are in the closet that won't subscribe, won't share, simply because
They don't
they
want
are
others.
afraid of what's out. Yeah, they don't want to be part of our club, because even though that they know that we got the better club.
Right. They don't want people to know we're part of that club. Come on, man.
Right, right.
Hey, folks, we're growing, so you might as well jump on board. Get on board that love train, like we say. Who's that, the OJs?
Yep,
Is it the
yep.
love train? Well, we got,
Yeah.
what's the name? Did love train too, but that's a different version. But anyway, jump on in there, James. Talk to me. What we got going on today, bro? Grab your soda cups, y'all.
Yeah. Starting off, we're going to be talking about those divers from 8 months ago that lost their lives on the I forget the name of the ship, but the name of the sub. But they came out of Maldives and went down to check out the Titan and never came back. After that, we're going to get into the economy and politics, because people are really frustrated right now. Gas prices are up, grocery prices are up, rent, insurance, if you
Yeah.
can even get insurance,
Mm-hmm.
everything is climbing. And we are going to talk honestly about politics, loyalty, pride, and why people struggle to admit when leadership is failing us. Then we're going to take a deeper talk into how politics today feels less like politics and more like religion, where people feel like they have to pick sides no matter what, have to pick and stick with their side no matter what's going on and what's being said. And everybody else is just arguing online. And to close everything else out, we're going to be discussing the January 6th pardon and some of the other slogans that came out, including peace through strength, and how America is even too divided to hear and listen to the other side. So, yeah, y'all already know. Another good one today.
Welcome to Respect the Talk with Jerry B.
Respect the talk. Respect the talk. Respect the talk.
Jump right in here because this is how deep is too deep. Now, naturally, I'm gonna run through this, but James, you can jump in anytime you want. But I'm gonna run through this because if there's a part you want to jump in on, just say, "Hold up, Unc," before you go any further. But hey, you know what's crazy to me, folks, and I'm telling you, this is crazy to me, and I don't get it. People who actually enjoy risking their lives for excitement, like thrill seekers, and I know a few of them. I can honestly say that ain't me. Curious, absolutely. I'll watch documentaries all day. I'll read about weird stuff, but me personally, nah. I don't need to hang off a cliff, jump out of a plane, or swim into some underwater deep maze just to feel alive. And speaking of that, and that's what brought this conversation up, because this just happened. Did you guys hear about those divers in the Maldives? Man, 6 people lost their lives diving into these deep, deep underwater caves. I mean, they were mixtures of all kind of different caves. Scientists, researchers, and one military rescuer who went down to save them. And they went down like 160 to 200 feet into the underwater cave system and never came back up. First off, prayers to those families because that's tragic, real tragic. I mean, seriously. But I ain't even gonna lie. My first thought was, what in the world is down there that's worth risking all that? That's actually what I'm wondering, folks. Like at some point, curiosity got to tap you on the shoulder and say, all right, we've learned enough. Because of underwater caves, that's a different type of fear. You can't just swim straight up. You get lost down there one time and it's over. There's no lights. There's nothing. I mean, it's dark. That reminds me of the Titan sub situation going down to see the Titanic a few years back ago. Folks paying tons of money, millions of dollars, to go to squeeze into this tiny little metal sub. If you guys remember that, and to go visit something that already sank once. Think about that. Sometimes humans got this obsession with conquering the unknown. We always got to see what's over the next hill, what's at the bottom of the ocean, what's out in space. And I get it. I get it. That curiosity is probably why civilization advanced in the first place. But man, come on. Some places can feel like nature telling you, you don't belong here. And my mother used to always say, leave well enough alone. Until this day, I fully don't know what she meant by that. But the older I get, I think I understand it a little more now. Some doors don't need to be opened, some caves don't need exploring, and some mysteries can stay mysteries. Because once people start chasing that line between discovery and danger, sometimes there ain't no coming back. Come on, jump in here, man.
And I'm right there with you. You know, my limits to my thrills are fast cars and roller coasters. Uh, you know, I even got past the whole fast women thing as I got a little bit older. So fast cars and roller coasters, that's my limit.
Yeah.
So climbing mountains and going to places where air is super thin, so now you need an oxygen tank, or going super deep underwater where I can't naturally float to the top without drowning. That just doesn't sound exciting to
Yeah,
me.
I don't get it. You know, if you remember over the past month, there was, because I watch the news a lot, over the past month, there was this couple or people that got stuck on the side of a hill mountain climbing that they had to have rescue choppers come and get them off the side of a mountain that they can't get up. There were people just the other day who were in a, a cave by the ocean. I don't know what the hell they were doing in there. And then the ocean started rising naturally, you know, the waves or whatever that come up, you know, started coming up. And they got trapped in there. So they had to have the rescue drivers come in, rescue guys come in and save them. Then there was these people skiing and they got buried in snow up in the ski. They're buried in the snow coming down a steep, steep, steep cliff. Wait a minute. What the?
Like I said, man, my limits are fast cars. So like I drive my car fast. I've gotten on a racetrack with one of those actual race cars where they
Yeah,
go
yeah,
around
yeah,
and then let
yeah.
you drive the track. Um, but I think even you got more thrill seeker in you, because I told you I can't get on a motorcycle simply because I know I love speed and I need the comfort and the security of
Right.
metal surrounding me.
Yeah.
So I'm not one of those who can go out there and do just the extreme
Yeah,
lifestyle
extreme. Yeah.
thing. That's just not me.
But you know, I used to be like the speed thing growing up when I was a lot younger. Now, even me on the motorcycle, I just like to cruise, man. I just like to feel the wind blowing what little hair I got on my head and just cruise, man. I love to feel it's something. It's a unique feeling that it's almost like. Have you ever had a rag top?
Yeah.
Okay. You remember that feeling with the rag top down and you know, it's a totally different feeling than being in a car with the windows up and air conditioner on. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's so that you take that's another step. The windows up, car down, I mean top on, and then you drop the rag top and it's totally different feeling. Then you leave that atmosphere and go on a motorcycle. Then it's like, oh my God, this is heaven. You know, so it's and it's not about speed, it's just about life. because the things you've seen, like the water over here, now you actually see it in a different view. So anyway.
Okay, I get you. I get you. I just, like I said, I know me. I love speed.
Yeah.
So
You're going to fly even in a rag top.
yeah, yeah. So I'm fine with the rag top because I still got the doors surrounding me.
Right, yeah. I love it. All right, let's move on, folks. Okay, because you voted for this, you guys. You voted for this. So I'm at the gas station earlier, right? Just minding my own business. This is a true story, folks. I'm not just making this crap up. I'm pumping gas, already annoyed at the price. And I overhear this couple who's right on the opposite side of me pumping gas. And overhear this couple arguing beside me. And the lady looked at the dude and said, "Well, you voted for him," and said that loud as hell. Now, mind you, I got a Jeep Grand Cherokee. He's got one of these big old S03E16 trucks, and he was complaining about the gas prices. And she just looked up, and both of them standing outside their car. And she just reached up, "You voted for him?" I almost lost it laughing. And the funny part is, they were riding together in this giant truck that probably drinks gas like it's happy hour. See, that's the part people don't want to talk about. Everybody is loud during election season. Hats, flags, bumper stickers, all that energy. But when prices start climbing, now everybody's suddenly confused. And listen, if you supported Trump, that's your choice. That's okay. This is America. There's nothing wrong with that. Vote for who you want, but own it. At least own it. That's all I'm saying. Don't sit there shocked at grocery prices, gas prices, insurance prices like this came out of nowhere. People keep saying, just hold on. Things are going to get better. Man, they've been saying that forever. Meanwhile, regular folks are getting squeezed every single day. And let's be real, folks, about something nobody likes to talk about. When the middle class starts disappearing, the poor get poorer, then crime goes up. That ain't me just saying this, folks. That's reality. Most people would do whatever they got to do to feed their kids or keep the lights on. That's why I laugh when rich politicians tell struggling people, hang in there. Easy to say it from a mansion, different conversations. When your fridge is full and your bills are already paid, and people still holding on like this is some sports loyalty. Like, come on. Now, and let's admit it, you guys. I mean, you made a
Yeah,
mistake, and
this
and
is
and admit you,
insanity.
huh?
This is insanity, man. Because when you look at it, I mean, let's break down a little bit of history. Obama came in after the second Bush,
Right.
and he came into a horrible economic almost recession.
Yeah.
He turned it around to a balanced budget,
Right.
positive economy, a positive job growth, a positive growing economy, and it things were glorious.
Right.
He may have made some mistakes along the way. A lot
Yeah.
of people say that he didn't accomplish enough for Black folks, but so be it.
Yeah. I
He
mean,
he
that's
also
yeah.
fought. He also had to fight the entire Congress, both houses, his second term.
Yeah.
So I give the man kudos for what he did accomplish.
Oh, absolutely.
We get into the Donald J. Turd's first term, and we go from all positive numbers to farmers losing their farms and the economy doing horribly after a pandemic that he poorly mishandled. But even if you don't include the mishandling of the pandemic, things had already started to turn downward.
Yeah.
Biden comes in, he inherits a horrible economy, or a failing economy, I should say, not horrible, but a failing
Right.
economy, with a pandemic. And by the end of his first term, things have started to turn around again.
Right.
The same numbers that we were seeing at the end of his term were the same numbers that we saw after a year of Trump's first term. In fact, things were improving, and then they started to decline after only a year of Trump's first term.
Right.
And we are sitting in a situation where everything, every single thing has increased. And we're looking at vanity projects out the wazoo. We're looking at a new war. We're looking at um, ongoing wars
Right.
that haven't been settled, that he claims to have settled. They're just not in the news anymore. They're
Right.
still going on.
And that's the dangerous part about politics now. It ain't about policy anymore, my friend. It's identity. People would rather struggle than admit they got sold a dream that ain't turning out how they imagined. Meanwhile, the wealthy keep getting wealthier. The regular Americans keep arguing and each other with each other. And instead of looking at who really benefits, which is not us, but hey, next time you're standing at that gas pump, watching the numbers fly up, just remember somebody voted for this. Somebody
Yeah,
voted for this, and
yeah.
you can own up to it and say, you know what, I guess that's the thing. I just bothers me that they just don't want to own up to it. They just want to just like think, okay, let it blow off the top of the head. Who cares? Instead of saying, yeah, we made a mistake, and they rather stick by it. They too. It's almost like their pride's going to be hurt by saying, yeah, we screwed up. You know,
And for a lot of people, that is all it is. It's a matter of pride. It's a matter of not wanting to admit they were wrong.
right?
And
And
that's that's childish if nothing else. That's a childish mentality.
well,
I mean,
yeah,
after all, he did say he liked the poorly educated.
well, yeah,
And
I
then
know,
those of us who aren't poorly educated, who aren't informed or misinformed, we saw the writing on the wall in the
yeah,
beginning. And I guess the one sentence that nobody ever wants to hear is "I told you so."
right.
So they are. I say it
They
all the
dug
time.
in. They
They're
dug in.
moving. Yeah, they dug in. They're moving goalposts, doing all kinds of mental gymnastics
Mm,
that so that everything else is making sense to them still.
yeah. Well, then
Like
they, it just blows
you
my
gotta,
mind because it's just it's constantly so much, and I don't get it. But hey, here's what's going to happen, folks. Before we're going to take a break real soon. But before we go to break, there was a shooting, and I know this kind of I don't know if you heard about this, Jim, but this is right up your rim because you're Muslim. But this Muslim temple up in California where this security guard who was Muslim got shot stopping the two people who did it, who was coming in and killed. They actually killed, I think, 3 people died doing that. But he stopped them from getting any further. Just lost his life doing it. And then these two cowards, which was 17 and 18-year-old KKK skinheads, whatever you want to call it, went in the car and shot themselves. I don't know if you heard about that story yet.
I had not. I
Yeah,
had not.
yeah, it is really sad, but it was a Muslim temple, and it's just, I mean, come on, you guys, and the first thing I think about when I hear this is that because we kept talking about this, and I know this is not in our topic of conversation, but we got some time. We kept talking about it because I feel for these families here, and they say it was a hate crime. They figured out it was a hate crime because of all the crap that the kids had written on the guns and stuff about Muslims and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, what the first thing came to my mind is exactly when people talking about we got to get rid of these Mexicans killing our American citizens, you know. And I was like, remember we had this conversation a while back ago. I said you can get rid of all the Mexicans in the world, and you got crazy ass people right here in the United States. That is not going to stop crime. That is not going to
That
stop crime. These were not Mexicans that went in there and killed these people. These were two full white bread kids, 17 and 18 years old, that came in there and killed this and shot this school up, Muslim school. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
our system, and when I say our I mean because it's a global thing now. But globally, we have produced a system of class based purely on race. And a lot of people want to deny that and say that no, that's not the case. But wherever you go, Black and brown people are mistreated and are demonized.
Right.
And unfortunately, the progress that we have started to make since the civil rights movement is quickly being undone
Right.
by this administration. Um, and by administration, I don't just mean the president,
No,
but
the
the
Supreme Court.
president, the Supreme Court, the DOJ, all
Nothing
the
do
House and the
Congress.
Senate that are voting on this legislation.
Right.
The local governments that are also voting on these policies and laws. You know, it's things are quickly reversing. We're talking
Right.
about the late 60s, um, with the civil rights movement to what we're talking about 80 years later. Um, and a lot of what was done during that 5 or 10 year period of uh, the civil rights movement to be undone in just a year is incredible. You know, it's a scary thought, but
Yeah.
wherever you go in this world, it's always easier to have somebody to blame for the failings of our society.
Right. Yeah.
And the easiest way to identify people and to demonize and to create a scapegoat is through race.
Yeah.
So it's easier for a lot of people to say it's black and brown people, or it's black people in their ghetto neighborhoods, or it's Mexicans crossing the border illegally,
Right.
or it's
Yeah.
Muslims who don't believe in Christianity and living a Christ-like. It's easy for people to demonize somebody else if they look different than you.
Yeah.
And for young, inexperienced people, young, uneducated people, um, people who just don't seem to care and have
Right.
nothing to lose, and in some cases were babied all their life and um, given far too many participation trophies.
Yeah.
It's easy to radicalize those folks
Yeah.
and get them to believe that if they could get rid of a certain group or a certain color, then all their problems would be solved because they would no longer be there.
Right. Yeah.
That's what we really need to get past.
Right. But I'm gonna follow this story because I'm anxious to see what happens with the parents in this incident. Even though the kids killed themselves, they were 17 and 18. And if you remember last year, there were parents that wind up going to prison because of their kid got their gun, or the dad gave him a gun for Christmas and he went and shot up a school. So parents wind up going to jail. I want to see, just because these kids killed themselves, I want to see what responsibility the parents might have had in that, because they're 17 and 18 years old. Kids aren't born racist, they're just not born racist. So they had to pick up this type of ideology somewhere along the line. And chances are, most people I've met some racists in my life, and most of them, their parents were horrible. And that's where they got it from, because their parents were just as bad. So I'm interested to follow the story and see if Gavin Newsom would step up to the plate and find out, check into the parents and see, okay, well, how did these kids get the way they are? Because they just would be just as liable for this if they turned these kids to be that racist.
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily just the parent. I mean, we got folks
Well,
out here.
society is doing it, because you get some of these people that they can get weak, like you said, if they're weak minded, they could get, their heads can be flipped around to believing that it's our fault, and we're taking over the world and they're going to be the minority. And I don't know where they're getting that reality from, but
And I've always said that the internet, and I think we're going to learn this about AI as well, but the internet was a boom and a bust for us all in the same stroke.
right, yeah,
Simply because the internet allowed the world to get smaller. Um, Information at a click of a few buttons, but it allowed the world to get so small that people of like mind can hive now.
right, yeah,
Um, and that's for good or bad. So if you are a philanthropist and you want to find other people who want to donate and build up a charity in some form or faction, you can do that.
right, yeah,
But
for
by the
sure,
same token, you can find other people who are into just as devious uh, and deviant behavior as yourself. So it it's easy to find, and we not only I'm not sure if you're familiar with Chud the Builder.
I've
Have
heard the
you?
terminology of the person, but no,
Chud the Builder is a white racist that has been going around the country into black and brown neighborhoods, mostly black neighborhoods, and throwing out the N word and saying other uh, extremely racist things and using extreme racial slurs, trying to get a rise out of people so that he could use that as an excuse to mace or pepper spray or, in the most recent case, kill somebody.
oh, that's the one I
Kill,
just heard about. That the way he went to jail for it. The guy went to jail because they say
yeah,
you can't do that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
yeah.
Yeah,
And he used the argument that it's all about free speech.
right, right,
Well, like we said earlier, everybody has choices, and choices have consequences.
right,
Um, this this was an instigation of everybody that he came across.
right. Yeah,
He finally came across a disabled veteran that he ended up killing.
right.
Well, he got hit with a I want to say it was $150,000 bail to get in order to get out, and that was
125,
with
125 million.
125 million. Okay,
1.25 million in attempt murder case. Yeah.
and so far he's already raised, and this gives you a look into our society. He's already raised $10,000 at last I heard, going through social media.
Trump will bail him out.
Yeah, somebody, and it's sad, but
I know, it's sad, but
we had not too long ago the young lady who called a disabled black child in the middle of a park all kinds of
right,
racial slurs,
right,
and she raised obscene amount of money through
right.
social
For her,
network.
right, to her, yup, through social media. You go, which is
So,
crazy, but that's our
and
world,
and
bro.
and that exactly, and that's sad. That's that screams that this administration has found a niche that wants to be that needs to be scratched, that
Right,
needs to be fed. This is all red meat for these people,
right.
and they are out there looking for stuff like this.
Yeah, I know, absolutely, absolutely.
You know,
Hey,
one of my favorite quotes that I've heard recently is that laws weren't made to keep good people good. Laws were made to keep shitty people from being even more shitty.
shitty, yeah.
So when we have laws like that build up equity and tear down racial walls, it's because we have a lot of really shitty people out there.
Yeah, amen. Hey, man, let's take a quick break, but just to let everybody know we're not going back. is not going to happen. But we're going to take a real quick break, folks, and we'll be right back at you in 2 and 2. See you in a minute. Or 2. Hello, folks. My name is Jerry B. from Pride and Glory Travel Cruise Planner, and I'm here to tell you about our Where to Next 2026 vacation calendar. Starting off with May 2nd on Freedom of the Seas, Royal Caribbean, going out for 5 days. Then we're doing our land and air vacation. You asked for it. Here we're going out to Vegas in 6 days over in Hawaii and just having a blast. And this kicks off on June 17th. Then another one you asked for, we head back out to Alaska again on July 26th on a beautiful ship, Celebrity Edge. Then in October, another trip you asked for. We headed over to Aruba and Carousel. This is going out October 17th on Allure of the Seas. And then our biggest trip of the year is on Allure of the Seas, November 29th, which is our hog biker cruise. You don't need to be a hog or biker to attend. Just come have some fun. We having our leather and lace karaoke party. We having a pool get together. And you got entertainment by me, Jerry B, and my younger brother, Timmy B, doing the show for you guys. So grab your pencil and paper, call Jerry at 920-265-8143, or Pam at 401-368-3275, or John, 703-346-8352. And as always, see you at sea. We're back again for segment 3 of our conversation here at Respect the Talk with me and Boo, James Jr., my buddy. All right. Hey, when politics become religion, you guys, okay, here we go. When politics become religion, I'm going to say something uncomfortable. I think some people are too deep into turn around. They are way too deep into turnaround. No, seriously. At this point, a lot of folks feel they only got 2 choices: either admit they were wrong or double down harder. And a lot of people are choosing option 2, because I keep hearing people say stuff like, I don't care how high gas prices are or how gas prices get. I don't care. I've literally heard somebody say that. And I'm like, what? You know, man, what are you talking about? You don't care about groceries, rent, insurance, your mortgage? Come on now. That's when politics stop being about politics and start becoming religion, or guess what? A cult. And that's dangerous, because now facts don't even matter anymore. Everything, and I do mean everything, become defending the team no matter what happens. People are ignoring everything. Prices are up. Don't care, because prices are up. Past crimes, don't care. Family making money, don't care. Country struggling, don't care. So my question becomes, what do you care about? Please tell me, what do you care about? Because every promise ain't magically fixing people's lives right now. And every time somebody says, just wait until this person gets into office, somehow regular people still end up hurting worse afterwards. Somebody told me that also. They kept telling me, well, when Trump gets this person in office, things are going to get better. Okay, right. They said that about 5 times now, and nothing's gotten better. And another thing, I'm tired of hearing politicians brag about the stock market like everybody's living off investments. Most Americans ain't day traders. Most folks trying to make it paycheck to paycheck. There's different economies in this country. Rich people's economy, doing fantastic. Yes, you are, Trump, and all your other cronies out there. Middle class economy, hanging on by finger threads. I'm telling you, this is killing us out here. And poor economy, man, they're drowning. So when politicians say the economy is booming, whose economy are we actually talking about? And let me make this clear, folks, before people get emotional, okay? And start sending me stupid letters, and writing down crazy things to me, or driving down the street calling me crazy names, okay? Criticizing Trump does not mean I hate America. Actually, it's the opposite. I want this country to be amazing, okay? But America ain't one man, never was. The people make this country: workers, families, communities, small business owners, teachers, truck drivers, nurses. Everyday people is what makes this country great. That's the heartbeat of America. And despite all this division, all this frustration, and all this political fighting, I still pray for this country each and every single day, because we're going to need more than campaign slogans to fix what's happening out here. Come on, talk to me, James, Boo, Junior,
I
whatever
agree with
you.
you,
What?
man. We have a lot going on in this country. Um, the economy isn't booming, like you said, for most of us. I mean, if it's booming for anybody, it's the top 1%.
Right, exactly.
You know, when you look at things like that, and you look at real numbers, and that the top 1% control as much of our country's wealth as the bottom 90%, then there's a real problem there.
Right. Yeah.
There's a real problem there.
Yeah.
So if that's who the economy is booming for, then 99% of us are hurting. You
Right.
know, if you and I've heard far too many times from starch MAGA nuts that, well, things would be worse if we had gone the other way. I don't even see how that's possible.
Yeah, I can't get any worse. I mean, are you kidding me?
We have existing wars that weren't resolved, and quite frankly, the only real war that was on anybody's radar was Russia and Ukraine, and that's ongoing.
Right. That was going to be
Um,
fixed on day one.
that was supposed to be fixed on day one. We're now almost a year and a half in, and we're still in the same boat with Ukraine. In fact, we've entered into a new war that we've started on behest of Israel.
Right. Yeah.
So not only is the war thing a bust, but America First is a bust.
Right. Yeah.
Because Israel's regards have nothing to do with us.
Well,
Israel's affairs have nothing to do with us.
Well, like you said, they keep moving the goalposts. Now it's not about America first. Now it's about they can't have a nuclear weapon. When did it become about that? You know,
Right.
that's what blows my mind.
And even at that, we've always had concerns about them having nuclear weapons.
But yeah,
But we've always used diplomacy.
exactly.
And through diplomacy, we've always been able to curtail them getting a nuclear
Which
weapon.
we're going to talk about that in the next segment, but
Yeah. And so that's not even a factual statement. That's spin.
yeah.
That's spin at its best.
Well, yeah. Hey, just so
Um,
you know, Kiki Burton wants to go in October, but you got to push for November.
I think she was referring to one of your cruises.
I know. That's what I just said. And you got to tell her November 29th, because that's when me and Timmy is entertaining on.
Yeah. Well, we got to see what this economy brings for the Burton household over on this side.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Hey, call your rich dad. Call your rich dad.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll go put a bug in his ear. He's one of those other people. Anyway, but let's get back to the economy, man, because this is what blows my mind. I got some people that's got money in the economy, or shall I say, the stock market. I know they don't have a lot of money in the stock market. They just got money in the stock market. And they brag about it, and they're like, well, he's making me money. What did you make, $50 this week? He made $1 billion, you made 50. It's like, come on, man. You got to stop the nonsense. Just because you made $50 or $100 this week does not mean you're going to let him make billions. I mean, something's, he's getting ready to make these January 6 people millionaires. Millionaires. I mean, I just don't get it, man. And you stick it with this crap. It just it blows my mind, man.
I mean, and like you said in your post, regardless of whether or not they were pardoned, being pardoned means that you were found guilty.
Right.
It means that you were guilty.
You were guilty.
And that the president stepped in and commuted your system.
Right. So you don't deserve any money.
Exactly.
You got committed. You got found guilty by the peer of the people, and you need to serve your time. But that don't mean you get money, because you were guilty. You did break into the Capitol. Come on, man.
Exactly. And we're talking about this being more like a religion and a cult than politics now. I mean, for those who are Christians and read their Bible, didn't this man just get a golden statue?
Oh my God, yeah, I'll tell you, man, it's
I
just
the the only story that comes to my mind is the golden calf.
exactly. Thou shalt not put no man before me, and they all are doing it. That's the first. See, that's the thing. These people out here want to sit there and scream about religion. They want to scream about childbirth and all this other nonsense, but yet they allow this to go on, and they sit there. And the Bible strictly says, "Thou shalt not have no other god before me." And guess what you're doing? Putting this man in before him. It's like, where does this make any sense at out here?
It's not even from a religious point of view, it's not even a statue. It's not even a marble or stone statue. This was a golden
Gold.
statue.
Yeah, a golden statue.
This is the epitome of blasphemy
Yeah,
and the
exactly.
golden calf. This is an identical parallel to the golden calf
Yeah,
story.
exactly.
And
And,
if I'm not mistaken, wasn't this supposedly a religious leader who dedicated this thing?
I'm telling you, it's crazy. And then they had a prayer over it, which is crazy. And it's like, this is a golden. I don't get it, man. Oh, by the way, Kiki said, okay, November it is, and I think she was down there in January the 6th. So I'm going to be looking for $1 million check in the mail. So I think she was down. So you had to go apply for that, Kiki. I'm telling you. Hey, look, I'm gonna tell them too. I was in that line too, man. Hey, I was there. I was one of the
I don't
KKK
know if I
down
want
there.
that kind of blood money, man.
No, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Hey, let's move on to the
Oh,
next segment because this is something that crazy. It bothers me too. The peace to thin strength. You was getting ready to hit on this. Because here's something else I can't wrap my head around. How are people okay with billions of taxpayers' dollars going towards January 6 rioters while everyday Americans are struggling with food and gas prices? That makes zero sense to me. These people weren't found innocent, they were found pardoned. That's a big difference. And somehow Congress just sits there like everything is normal. Nobody pushes back, nobody stands firm. Everybody is scared of political fallout. Meanwhile, regular citizens are paying the price for all this dysfunction. All that's why people are losing faith in the system because it feels like different rules depending on who you are. And then I keep hearing this phrase, peace through strength. I hear Congress saying that. I hear everybody saying that. And now listen, I understand the idea behind it, but that only works if the other side actually fears you or sees themselves as weaker. That kind of pressure sometimes make people fight harder. You threaten certain people, they don't back down. That escalates. That's why you got to understand who you're dealing with before you start throwing power around. Every situation ain't solved by force, intimidation, or flexing muscles because history shows us sometimes something really clear. Okay, and when people feel cornered, desperate, or humiliated, they become unpredictable. That's true in the streets. That's true in politics. That's true in war. And right now, this country feels tense, angry, divided. Everybody's screaming. Nobody's listening. And at some point, we got to figure out how to talk to each other again before this thing goes too far. Because strength without wisdom, that can become destructive real fast. Now, the reason this topic came up is I wrote something else in my daily briefing on Respect to Talk. And I had said something about, I live my life um, being what do they want to call it, black sheep of the family, an OG. Although I was a musician and doing all the other crazy stuff I was doing, true OG. And I didn't back down from shit, and I don't care. You couldn't force me into doing anything. It's just, you cannot, you want to talk to me about doing something and talk to me like you got some sense in your head. We can talk. I mean, I listen. But if you try to come at me real hard, trust me, it ain't gonna be pretty because that's how I roll. Period. That's how I roll. I've been like that all my life. I'm sure you got that Burton mentality too, dude. So don't look at me like that.
Sure.
With just, I mean, I would conversate with anybody, but don't come at me hard and think I'm gonna back down because I don't play. I don't play that. So this peace through strength only works through weak people who sits there and allow you to try to be strong over that and take over and try to, oh, okay, you're right. And I'm like, man, screw that shit.
And here's the thing: there is actually a it's a theory based on a old Greek philosopher. It's named after him, called some kind of trap. It's based on basically what we're going through right now with this whole thing. It's someone who knows that they're strong and thinks they're unbeatable, faces somebody who is decidedly weaker, but learns that they have a way of some advantage. So our American president, thinking that he's unbeatable, indestructible, comes across Iran, confronts them, and our president expects him to back down, but they fight back and learn that they actually have a tentative advantage.
Right.
Now
Exactly.
they're feeling stronger.
Right.
So we have the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object,
Right.
and all that really needs to happen now is a spark.
Right.
And China is acting as that spark.
Right. Right.
So we are facing, and I said this a long time ago, even before learning about this trap, we are facing World War III right now.
Well,
Unless somebody gets smart enough to say, you know what, winning isn't everything. Let's be diplomatic about this.
right. Well, here's what's happening. We're putting ourselves in a horrible situation, whether you folks out there want to notice or not. They keep trying to find a way to hide behind it, but we're running out of munitions fast, which is why he's not bombing Iran right now. He's scared to bomb Iran. We're already low in munitions, because of bombing Iran. Now you go in there and start bombing even more, we're going to really be down in ammunition. And guess what? We open ourselves up to China, Russia attacking us because we have no defense. Because we blew them up screwing around with this tiny country called Iran, trying to do something we shouldn't have been in the first darn place, all because of Egypt.
Right.
So
And my favorite news source now, the Lego news source, is now putting out there that it's not just Russia and China that's watching us, waiting for us to fall flat, but Israel also has a stake in us losing ground.
yeah.
So who knows? That's a real possibility.
Well, it really is, and because we can't build bombs that fast. I mean, we're not even factory orientated enough yet to be building bombs that quick. Back in the day during World War II, every factory turned into building bombs. Ford Motor Company, Chevy, everybody jumped into building bombs. We're not ready for that yet. We can't keep, we cannot build them as fast. And he done pissed everybody off over there. So nobody's going to come to our rescue. I don't think Canada, who's still sitting right on our door in Mexico, is going to sit there and look at us and laugh because of what he did. So the sad thing is we Americans, or most of the Americans, allowed this to happen by not backing down to this guy and his threats. They worried about being primary and losing their job. Well, guess what? You should lose your job if you can't stand your ground. Period. You shouldn't even be in office. And that's just my opinion. Now, there's a few guys stood their ground and they got pissed off and they lost their position. Good. Go to work. Go back to work like the rest of us Americans. You don't need to be in Congress that long any darn way. So I don't know, bro.
agree. We got a lot of cowards in places where we do need strength. And they've allowed us to be put into a position by wanting to be in this club that they thought was gonna be the winning side. And it's it's like Kiki had put out there, um, just like a schoolyard bully. Eventually, the person who's being bullied will fight back, and a lot of times it's the bully that gets beat up.
Right.
Well, we've been a bully for far too long,
Well, well, here's the thing.
and
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
now Iran is that little guy who we were picking on most recently. They're standing up to us, and they're showing the rest of the kids in the playground that we have flaws, we have weaknesses.
Well, here's the thing that gets my goat though. It's what 200 and something members in Congress, I think it is, or something like that, 253 or whatever. And the Republican Party has a majority, which means it's I don't know 100 and something. I don't know. I'm just maybe our producer can look that up. But I'm gonna use that number as generic numbers. If all of them, and every one of them, even Lindsey Graham, who's kissing Donald Trump's, what, sitting on TV saying, if you go against Trump, you're going to lose. If every one of those 100 and something members, they know he's wrong, got together and said, we're going to stop this guy, they could do it because he cannot primary 150 something members at one time. He just can't do it. They don't have that kind of money, so that would put a halt to this nonsense. But they too chicken and scared to do that. So you got certain members say they're not going to tolerate it, and the rest of them are cowering between their legs because, oh my God, he'll primary me. Well, you get 40 of them or 50 of them. He can't primary 40 or 50 people, that'll go against what he wants to do. But they just have no balls. They just so scared of this guy, they literally have no balls, and that's sad.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing in our current state of affairs.
Yeah.
And we say it all the time. I don't worry about it for myself. I think I pray that I can survive, and if God allows, I think I can survive the next 2.5 years
Right.
until this guy is voted out of office. But I worry about the long-term damage
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
my children and grandchildren and great grandchildren will have to go through, because he's created so much damage that globally, with American reputation, America, I look at it kind of like Game of Thrones. The famous line in Game of Thrones was, "A Lannister always pays his debt." We were the Lannisters.
No.
We were the ones that everyone felt that they could count on. When things got rough, we would be there. Our economy would always bounce back. We were the Lannisters. We have the Mad King at the helm right now.
Yeah, we do. No.
And nobody has faith in us like that anymore. We've lost faith.
Yeah.
We've lost faith as a country, with the way we treat each other, and the world has lost faith in our country.
Yeah, so I make correction because there's 435 members in the House of Representatives. 435. And divide that by 2 plus 2 people is what the Congress has, which is 200 something, 217, I think, and 218 members they have in the Republican Party. If 100 of them says they're not going to do this, there's no way he can primary 100 members. It's just ridiculous. So, but yeah, the way this country is, and that's a sad thing. This is not, to me. I'm not frustrated with him anymore. I'm frustrated with the way the country's allowing him to be the way, because like you said, whether we're going to be able to come back from this, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a long hair battle. It took us a long time to get to where we are, and he's destroyed it in pretty much 8 years. Maybe more important, it was longer than that. because he wasn't president when he came out against Obama, talking about he wasn't an American citizen. And that's where all these yahoos came up talking about, yep, he wasn't born in the United States. Hawaii is not a U.S. state. So all these yahoos, nope. So that's where it started at, and he kicked that crap off, and it's just been crazy ever since. Hey, dude, I'm not gonna run past 6 o'clock because we got that hour in. I hope you have fun, bro. Hey, and don't forget, Kiki said November.
She just sent us a heart.
Yeah, November, man. So she wants to.
Yeah, I heard it. Mm-hmm. Hey, look, I want our viewers to help me out with this. Let's get these folks out of office. Write your Congress, write your senators, tell them Article 13 is a real thing. Get this joker out of office. Maybe we could get this whole thing turned around in time for me to take Kiki Burton on that cruise.
Exactly. Exactly, bro. Exactly, man. Hey, we'll stay in contact on that when we talk about it, Hey, you guys out there in Respect to Talk Day, we want to thank you for joining us again this week. And thank you all for growing with us, man. We love to hear that. We love to see our numbers are coming up and popping up, man. I mean, I don't know if you've seen, but dude, it is going crazy, man. We're starting to get up past that mark where we need to be with viewers. So they're not hitting like, but they're viewing because we see all the views on there. So, I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
So, hey, you guys take care. God bless. See you guys next week in 2 and 2. Take care. Bye.
Love you guys too, including you, Kiki.
Yes. Love you.
Welcome to Respect the Talk with Jerry B.